Welcome to the Schoolhouse Podcast, where it is jumping. But I'm honored and I'm excited to do an interview today, and just some new news. Uh, my I go by the name of Mr. Schoolhouse, right? And so I kind of developed this name to help. It represents helping educators to stand and be an advocate for their mental health and overall just be excellent and strive share that. That's something new that's been going on. But enough about me. We're going to go ahead and dive into the interview today. As you guys know, I let my guests usually introduce themselves. So if you can introduce yourself by saying your name and where you're from.
Ken Patterson, man. I'm from Newport News, Virginia, but I'm in Maryland now, and so originally from Newport News, but I'm in Maryland. I am a proud principal of Seven Oaks Elementary School in the Anne Arundel County Public School System. So it's right out of Baltimore. If you know, familiar with Maryland, I actually live in Baltimore. I'm in Baltimore now. I drive to work there, but it's the school is in Anne Arundel County, specifically Odenton, which is about 3 minutes from the 3 to 5 minutes from the airport, BWI Airport. If anybody's ever flown into the area to BWI, that's about where it is. So, yeah, that's me, man. I'm having fun, and first year there, but I've been around the block. I've been in education for about 20 years, and it's been a fun ride. And I'm having the time of my life now. I'm having the absolute time of my life. So.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, I definitely I have been seeing, I know prior to us starting, like I said, I've been seeing your excitement and I've been seeing how just your heart and desire to say, I want to come in here, I want to make a difference, I want to make a change, and you are doing it. You are definitely
Yeah.
doing it, man. So that's I just want to say, man, I'm super inspired, being an advocate for education for sure.
Yeah,
But
yeah. No, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you reaching out, and it's great that we're working together, man. It's great that we can encourage each other. This is really like about kids, man. And so we've got to we got to team up, man. We got to do right by kids. And I think a lot of times in this industry, it's important for us to support each other because it's hard. It's hard enough, right? It's hard enough. So I really appreciate what you're doing, kind of getting word out there and providing people platforms or just connections to others who can encourage and inspire them, man. So you're doing great work too. Don't discredit yourself.
I appreciate that, brother. Thank you. So the first question I have to ask is, um, how is your mental health going as an educator, or just general? How's your mental health going?
It's man, I am doing well, man. I'm doing extremely well, man. I think and I tell people this all the time. I know that I got to be careful because you keep saying you're doing well. Everybody's either going to figure out maybe you ain't doing enough or something. But I'm absolutely doing well, and I think part of it is because I just find the joy in my calling. Um, I love what I do, man. I love what I do. I'll dig into it a little later, man. But it's real personal to me what I do. Um, it's personal, man. It's personal. It gets me a little emotional every time I talk about it. But this is I tell people you really want to build a life and you want to do something with your time where you're not trying to escape to the weekend all the time. I
Mm,
know that we in education, it's kind of in vogue to kind of be burned out and to share our war stories and our wounds with each other. But I look at it a little different, man. I'm blessed. I get to be here. I get to be with kids. I don't have to be with them. I get to be with them. And what I do every day is joyful, man. So it's not mentally, man. Like when you get strength out of what you do, it's very hard to be mentally drained doing it, man. Like,
mm.
yes, there's challenges. I'm not saying that it's perfect, but I wake up every day blessed to serve and love kids, and I can't imagine anything else. So I don't have to get away from it to recharge. I actually get encouragement and inspiration while I'm still in it. So
Mm.
um, it's a little unique take. Like I'm not. It's a little different, but it's special to me. So I'm doing well mentally, like mentally doing well because I get to be with kids. What makes me frustrated is I wish I just had more time.
Wow. I love it. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's real, man. I can attest to that. I am such an advocate, man. I really love what you do. It will really bring a lot more joy to your mental health and your mental well-being. If you're passionate about education and you like you get to like you're like you saying you get to be there. You have that get to type of attitude. And if educators had that, and I'm pretty sure educators do. I'm not saying they don't, but for the ones who may not have that attitude, it will help your mental well-being be at a much better place. So thank you for
Yeah.
sharing, man.
I get to, man. I get to, man. It's I wake up every day, man, and I'm like, wow, like I get to do this, man. Even when I go to like principal meetings, man, sometimes, there's a lot of people doing great work, but sometimes it's really easy to get together and, and share war stories, right? And I don't really have a lot of them. I don't, man. I try not to. I'm not bragging about not having a lot of them. It's just that I don't. Sometimes I don't know what to say, man. I don't have them stories, man. Again, it's not perfect, right? You're gonna have tough days. I mean, it's parents that like probably sick of me, man. But like, I have fun every day, and I want people to really kind of rethink how we approach what we do, so that it's not something that it's cool to complain about, right? Like,
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
blessed, man. We're in a profession where we're blessed, man. We're blessed, man. Like we're blessed, and I just don't want us to lose sight of that. You know what I mean?
That's real, man. That's real. So why education? You could have chose any other profession, but you chose education.
Um, I think because I wouldn't be
Why?
where I am without educators, right? And so to be able to every other profession mainly deals with adults, and adults are hard to deal with, right? So
Yeah.
kids I like kids better than adults. Um,
Yeah.
so uh, and it keeps me forever young, man. It keeps me forever young, and being able to um, impact eternity, I think, is one of the deepest callings. Um, every day I wake up and I have a chance. You can't say that in many professions. Every day I wake
Mm.
up, I have a chance to change eternity for somebody's family, for somebody's city, for somebody's region. I mean, if you got to ever teach Barack Obama when he was a kid, for somebody's nation, you know what I mean? So um, it's a high calling. I don't think you get that potential opportunity on a daily basis in any other profession. So it's fulfilling. It's fulfilling, man.
Mm. That's real. That's real. So
Yeah.
I know that you mentioned that you have been in education for over 20 years, I believe, right?
It'll be 20 years next school year. So 19. It'll be 20 years next school year.
Next school year.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you can explain, how was your first year as an educator? How was your first year as a teacher? Like, were there any expectations that you had, but it didn't happen? If you could kind of explain.
If I can remember back to my first year, I think so the wild thing is, man, I started off as a high school. So I started as a high school band director. I graduated from Morgan State University.
Okay.
Oops, shout out to Morgan. I graduated from Morgan State University, and out of the music program, got a degree in music and went straight to be a high school band director, like at 22, 23 years old. I like whoever gave me that job, man, like God bless him, man, because I had no business directing a high school band uh, as a 20-some-year-old kid. But all I remember, man, is just being like, it was just pure, just raw energy, man, like raw energy. You have no idea what you're doing. You have no idea what's important. You have no idea what any priorities are. You ain't taught a lesson ever, really. You did some other stuff. You did some student teaching, of course, but you don't know anything about the politics of a school. You don't know anything about scheduling. You don't know anything about anything, man. You're just kind of like just hustling, man. You just hustling time, and you got energy. And I remember spending, man, 70 hours, 80 hours, almost felt like a week, man. I'm getting there at 6 in the morning, getting home 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, and you don't know what's important. You don't know anything, and you just got energy and passion. So you just gonna rock. You can go hard. That was my first year. It was a blur. Like it just I'm in there. Running around, zipping around. Everybody, if you can't tell, I got a big personality, man. So like, it was a high school, but it was a big high school, but everybody knew the guy. Everybody knew the band guy, and it was a predominantly white area, man. So there were some challenges with that in this area, and I'm not saying that white areas are challenging in general. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying this particular area was like highly conservative. And it was an area that had historically had some race issues, right? And so I didn't know that. I didn't care. It's my first job, so I'm down there having a good time. Little did I know the school was, embattled in, some tension and things like that. But that was my first year, man. That was my first year. You couldn't tell me anything. Couldn't tell me anything, man. I had it. I was gonna be the best music teacher to ever live on the planet, right? And so I was a zealous, man. That was my first year, man.
So how did you transition? You said you had this raw passion. You wanted to be the best music teacher ever, but you transitioned into more of the kind of the academic side of things. How did you make that transition? What was that turning point for you?
Mentors.
Okay.
Mentors.
Okay, so you have some mentors.
As a mentors, my administrator, Beverly Smith. I love her so much, man. Beverly Smith, she's retired now, but she was like my mama. And then Anita Hutchins. I hope she sees this. I hope either one of them see it. But they were Anita was the one that kind of said, "Ken, you got to slow down. You got to slow down. You're gonna kill yourself. You're gonna kill yourself." And Bev Smith, Miss Smith was my administrator, so she was the assistant principal of the high school, but she was over my department, and she just was like, "Man, you're gonna do great things one day. You're gonna be, man." I just could tell, like she she was near retirement at that time, and that was 20 years ago, right? So she says, you're gonna do some great things, man. I know you are, but you gotta slow down, right? There's so much you gotta learn. And you're making mistakes, and the mistakes you're making are really mistakes of just ambition. You're not doing anything bad, but like you're gonna trip over your own feet if you don't slow it down. So they got me to slow it down and to kind of refocus on some things. And I think also I did burn out a little bit towards the end, right? You get to the end and you're like, I can't, it's not sustainable. And so you wise up a little bit. My second year, I didn't really wise up either. I still did the same thing, man. I was like, they can't be right, man. It's fine. I got it. I'm a prove to the world that,
Yeah. Yeah.
And so what was about like my third year, man, that I slowed down and I said, okay, I took some hits, right? I took some hits, particularly with just need to be humble. My kids didn't sound as good as I thought they did. So there's a lot of those things. And then sometimes getting into challenges with parents, families, community. And then also, man, high school politics is just totally different, bro. I'm zealous and I have all this going on, but it's a big high school and you got like athletic directors that like got pulled. It's a lot of politics that I was not aware of at first, man. And so I had to slow down and really learn the political game, because otherwise I wasn't going to be able to get what I wanted to accomplish. And so that kind of slowed it down, right? I kind of slowed it down. Some mentors kind of spoke to me, straightened me out a little bit. And the rest was history, man. Once I slowed it down and kind of looked, I was able to kind of efficiently move forward. Then we started getting some traction, and then that was it, man. We just started rolling from there.
Let's kind of backtrack here a little bit, because I know you mentioned about you being overly ambitious. And one of the things that I will say before I ask my question that was shocking, because I'm currently in my undergrad. So I get the honor to really hear people and their expertise and just learn so much information, right? And one of the things I learned was that some teachers work over the weekends, and I was like, wait, what? Whoa, like that was a little shocking. You know what I mean? And so I say all that to say is where like in your first year, what were the areas where you felt like, or people were pointing out, stating that you were being overly ambitious? Because when people look at ambition, they're like, that's a great thing, that's an amazing thing, like we need that energy, the kids need that, but
Yeah.
they're telling you to slow down. I've never heard of that since I've started my podcast. So I would like to know, like, what was that, you know?
So what it is, man, is and first of all, man, I'm excited, man, that that you're in this journey, man, and you're gonna be great, man, just because you're learning so much. But for me, it was the ambition. It's the ideas that you have without the understanding of how to execute them because you don't have the institutional knowledge yet, right?
Um,
So you might got big ideas, especially now. I feel real bad for people coming straight out of college now, man, because you got, you know, I'm not saying I'm old, but like 20 years ago, we didn't really, social media wasn't the thing. You just kind of had ideas that you stole from like when you were in school, right? But like now, you can look on Twitter, man, and spend just 10 minutes on Twitter and get 100 ideas for stuff you can do in a classroom. And what happens is, man, you get excited and you just want to do all those things, and you don't have any understanding of institutional knowledge or, again, politics, because a lot of politics with it. You don't have any understanding of the structures and the systems and really what resources and what things you need to be in place to execute the thing that you want to do. So what happens is you just keep trying to jam the thing forward, right? You just keep trying to jam the thing forward, man. I want to do this thing. And then you get frustrated because you think that people telling you to slow down is a lack of support, right? Or you think that people not really jumping on your idea. Mind you, these are people who have probably tried the idea and know it ain't gonna work the way you present it. Not that it's a bad idea, but it ain't gonna be that way you want it to go. But they got their own thing, so they don't really jump support it. You're gonna feel like, man, I'm all alone in this, and then you get mad, and then you double down. That's what you do. You double down. Like, you know what? I'm about to really show these haters. You ain't gotta surprise. You ain't gotta support me. I'm gonna show y'all what's up. I'm gonna show you what's up. I don't need none of y'all. I don't need none of y'all. Then you on Twitter, you talking about, yeah, I'm by
yeah.
myself. You on Twitter and you like, talking on Facebook, man, like, I can't get no support, but I'm gonna do this by myself. And you're just stupid, man. You're just stupid your first couple years, man. It's just like, you don't know, right? So like the ambition is what you need is more than anything. And it's hard. It's hard, but you got to go slow. Like, you got to start slow. Like, you got to try to master your understanding of the school system, understanding how a building works, understanding how players rise to the top, understand that the principal ain't always the most important person in the building. Sometimes the person that's running that building is a third grade teacher in that back corner that you don't even know about, that's just been there forever, and everybody in the building listens to that person, right? It might be the secretary. You don't know all that when you just jumping out. You got to learn the system, and if you don't know the system, then you can't really put in what you want anyway, right? And then when you learn the system, you might even, in learning the system, tweak your idea and be able to execute it at a higher rate of success. But it takes patience, right? So you coming in, man, you're gonna be the best teacher in the world. Nobody can tell you otherwise, man. You didn't got all your stuff off Teachers Pay Teachers. You done grabbed all your HBCU pictures and stuff. You already got your room set up. You got all these things you're gonna do, and they had a day of professional development in the building. You don't know that your teammate is a jerk, right? You don't know that your teammate blocks everything that goes on. You don't know any of that. So the ambition part is you jumping out, and you're just excited, and that's cool. So what you got to have, what I was blessed with is leaders who affirm me as a person, but separated me from my ideas and said, you're gonna be fine, but the ideas have to, you have to subject your ideas to the system that you have to learn, right? You have to hold your ideas and be patient with them. They might even work, but you got to learn a lot of things first before you start rolling with that energy. Otherwise, you're just a young, hot, excited new teacher that everybody looking at and they be like, man, he's gonna burn out in 2 years, man. He'll be all right.
That's some good information, man. So what does that look like in real time? Like, do you think that there's a certain time frame where young educators should say, all right, I've been you on all the ideas, or should it be like a few years before you like really start just going crazy? Or
I'm gonna say this, and it's gonna be hard to hear because people said it to
okay,
me. I didn't believe them, and they said it to me now as a principal. Cause trust me, I'm in the same seat now. Like, man, I came in first year principal, man. Like, I'm on fire. Like, I was at school at 10 o'clock at night. The same stuff was happening. Because I felt like a first year teacher all over again. Like, I'm still learning a whole lot, but I'm wiser. I'm wiser now. But it takes 3 to 5 years to get it, man. Like, so your first year. That's why my first year teaching in the building, man. They making mistakes like crazy, man. I don't even care. I don't even care, man. Like I tell them, I'll clean it up, right? I clean it up. I got you. Work hard, do your thing, right? So your first year, man, is really all learning. It's all learning. Like, like come in, be passionate, right? The thing you can do best is love your kids the most. Like that's what you can do. That's what you don't have to slow down on, right? Love those kids. Get to learn them, have fun with them, um, set your expectations with them and all that. But you got to learn the systems, man. You got to learn how schools work. You got to learn how logistics work. You got to learn what the hidden structures are that make a school run, right? Yeah, you got the faculty handbook. Yeah, it tells you like who the principal is, and then you go to the vice principal or assistant principal, or whatever. Then the flow chart. Yeah, you got all that in paper, but there's a lot of hidden systems that you got to navigate. And you learn that by observing and just being quiet, right, and paying attention. And I promise you, if you focus on that, you will shoot off much faster when it's time to move than if you did not. So you have the ability from year 3 to 5 to jump into administration and jump to be a principal by year 8, by 7, 8, even probably a little bit earlier than that. Some people, if you go slow first, because you will learn so much, right? If you don't go slow first, you will take longer to learn basic lessons than you need to. So what happens is stuff you could have learned just by being quiet and observing your first year, you're not really getting to year 3 and 4, so you're stunting your own growth, right? So I say about year 3 is a sweet spot. Year 3. So year 1 is all observing, right? You like, oh wow, that's okay. That person did this in a faculty meeting. I don't see him no more. All right, maybe I shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Or this person do that, or you learn like, wow, okay. You listening to conversations people are having, seeing how people maneuver, right? You learn, okay. Year 2, you might experiment with a little bit of it. You're going to get better in the classroom at understanding like your standards and your content and all that. That's what year 2 really is. So you should be moving along with that. But then you're still trying to navigate. How do I get my ideas forward faster so I can do what I need to do to be successful in my classroom? So you're practicing some of the stuff you learned your first year. And then you learn, okay, that worked or that didn't work. It's kind of like driver education, right? You sit in class, you learn about it. That's your year 1. Year 2, you're getting your learner's permit. You're on the road practicing. Now stuff is starting to make a little more sense to you. By year 3, now you got your license. So year 3, now you ready. You rolling. You rolling. Now you ain't got to do 10 and 2. You can, sit back. You can do all that by year 3 versus not learning that stuff in year 1 and 2, going way too hard, making dumb mistakes, getting thrown out of buildings, having to restart the learning process all over. It's a lot to learn, man. Particularly, man, and I'm telling you, particularly as an African American male, it's a whole different layer of stuff you got to learn on top of it, man. So just go slow before you go fast. That's what I tell people.
That's some good stuff, man. And so now, as you kind of learned about the time, I mean, just being patient as time went on. Just curious to know, what were some of those ideas that maybe couldn't happen in year 1 and 2, but now, later on down the line, and eventually you moving up into principal now, what are some of those ideas that you have been able to execute on, and maybe that, that was success for the school?
One of them, for example, was when I first started. You're talking about ideas like my first couple years of teaching.
Yeah, but then it eventually, or just any idea.
So I'm a self-starter and go-getter, man. Like I don't ever really depend on anybody to do anything that I can try. I find ways to get what I need, right? Um, this happened this summer. I got hired at my school. We'll get to that down the road, but I got hired at this school in a teacher shortage. I needed 14 teachers in my building, and we couldn't find anybody. I wasn't gonna wait for like HR. I went on to Facebook and got a bunch of Facebook people to come in my building. Same thing when I was fresh out of college at Morgan. I went to this school, and I'm at this high school, and it's about like 1,800 kids in the school. It's a huge school, but the band program, which I was in charge of, had about 12 students, right? So that's a mismatch. So 1,800 kids, I should have 200 kids in band. So just the methods in which I was trying to get them in, right? So I wanted to start this, this drum line, right? Give me all the bad kids, put them in my class with the drum line, give me all your problem kids and put them in drum line, we can get it working. Or, get rid of this, so like, for example, get rid of this music technology class that I got to teach. Get rid of that class, like get out of there. Like, so I'm talking kids in the dropping music technology class. Cause like, I don't want to teach this class. Like, get this class out. And they gave me 4 classes of guitar and 1 band class, right? And I'm the band teacher, right? So I'm like, man, I get out of guitar. Like I'm gonna make guitar a lot fun because y'all getting out of guitar. I didn't go to Morgan State University to teach guitar, right? So and Miss Smith, my assistant principal, said, Ken, that's not how it works. If I take all those kids out of that guitar class and out of that music technology class, I will lose your position.
Oh, wow.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You lose your position. Ken, you got to know how this stuff works. You're going too fast. What you do is you let them kids in there and you work with them and you build your band program. And then you come back and you tell me in the summertime, I got 40 more kids interested in band. And then I'm going to say, well, that means I need to cut 2 guitar classes. So maybe year 2, you'll have 3 band classes and 3 guitar classes, right? That's how it works, Ken. You can't be going too hard and messing up how stuff works, right?
Wow.
Same thing with the drumline thing you want to start. That's a good idea, but these kids have certain credits that they need to take. A lot of these kids that are challenging, they can't take certain credits in certain order, and so they don't have the space, right? So you gotta, if I put them in your class, they're not gonna graduate. Or these 2 kids got charges. I'm talking about high school, right? They got charges. They can't be in the same space as each other. You trying to drag them in the room, you can't do it. Ken, you got to slow down. I know what you want to do. It's a really good thing that you want to do, but you have to learn the politics of the educational system. You have to learn the politics of a school. You got to learn this stuff. And some of the stuff you're not going to learn early because you're first year teacher. I don't want you to know all this stuff. But since you want to go ahead and try to cancel all these classes and get these kids out of here and be out in the street, have them teach elementary somewhere or middle school or be on a cart because they don't have a full-time job, and now you're teaching in 4 different schools to make up your whole position, kids, slow down, right? That's an example of like just how I was just going so hard, man. Like,
wow,
going hard, man. I didn't even care about. I mean, get out of my. Tell me you want out of this guitar class. Like, all y'all go back to the guidance counselor, get out of the class, go somewhere else because I need to be teaching band. I'm a band teacher. But little did I know, man, that almost cost me my position in the building.
Wow. And I mean, at the time, I can only imagine like being overly ambitious. I bet were you like disappointed or felt like, dang, maybe this is not for me, education is not for me, or you was like, all right, well, I mean, eventually you learned the system, of course, but I guess like in that moment, emotionally for you, like what was processing through your mind?
When you don't listen, you interpret everything as a personal attack. So in my mind at that moment, it was like, y'all don't really want no band pro. Y'all ain't serious, man. Y'all don't, man. You hired me. You hired me because you like what I said I was gonna do. And then I get here, you won't let me do it. Right?
Wow.
like, this is a joke, man. This is why, this is it. This is why I know I should have been a performer. I know I should have took that music degree, man, and just, traveled and played in bands or something or whatever. So you take it personal, man. And then you get in your feelings.
Yeah.
Because you're young, man. You're young. You think you know better than everybody else, right? Right. So you take it personal. You take it as rejection. And it did joke me a little bit, right? But for me, I didn't have a choice because at the time I had a young family, so I wasn't gonna be able to lose my job, right? So I
Right.
was like, let's figure this out. I got 3 years. They ain't gonna let me go. I'm conditional or whatever. Or you gotta, I forgot what it was, but like you gotta teach for a couple years before you can transfer. So I might as well just figure it out. And once I slowed down, man, and stopped taking stuff so personal, it took off, man. It took off.
Yeah. So let's kind of talk about that path to you becoming a principal. You learning the politics of things. You learning how the school structure work. You're learning. So how did you get to be in the position that you are in today?
It's a long road, man. That's a loaded question, man.
You can take it
um,
however you want to,
so
whatever direction you
so
want to go in.
so we connected. You and I connected because of the ebook that I wrote, The Path to Principle, right? So you saw that and you reached out, and to me, that is a like removal of the gate. Like gatekeeping is a lot. There's a lot of gatekeeping in education when it comes to these positions, and so my passion for kids means that I know that there are some people who are really world changers and have the ability to change things, but are not able to do so because they don't understand the politics. And so for me, it was my contribution to kids. It still is about kids for me, right? It ain't like I'm making no ebook to make out and make money and all that. Yes, that part is a blessing. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I was able to pay a couple bills. Thank y'all who bought the ebook. Appreciate it. I was able to pay a couple bills with that. But but it's really about. It's kind of like I was talking to a friend in the bowling alley yesterday, buddy of mine. Because my son is playing basketball and he's trying all these routes. So he wants to be in the NBA, right? So he's trying all these things. And my friend said, man, like the way people really get, scouted is at these camps. It's really camps. Like, these scouts ain't really coming to high school games anymore, man. They go into these camps, right? And the camps are where the kids pay and they do the drills and all that. That's how you get your stars. A 4-star recruit, 5-star recruit. He said that comes from camps. And I was like, wow, like I didn't know, like I would have never known that, right? And he's like, yeah, a lot of people don't know that. So there's a lot of athletes that are really killing that never get a chance because they don't understand that the route to that is through the camps and through those things, right? And so I'm like, wow, like that's like education, man. There's so many like people who have powerful ideas and are able to move things forward, but they don't understand the path. They don't understand the path. So that's why I wrote The Path to Principle, right? So they don't understand the path, right? They think you work hard, you write a resume, and you apply for the job. And why ain't getting the job? And I was like, man, that was where I was looking dumb, man. I'm like applying for jobs, man. Like, I don't get the jobs, and then I do the good thing, right? You follow up, right? You send an email, right? Hey, man, really appreciate it. Can I get some feedback? You got some feedback? That's an interview feedback. So I got, that ain't how it go, bro. Like, I look back now, man, you look real dumb. Send that email, by the way. You look real dumb. Okay. That ain't how it works. So let's stop it. Stop the bull crap. Let's be honest. You never had a chance getting that job. They already figured out who they wanted that job to go to. So stop it, right? And one time I applied for a job and I asked, why I didn't get the job. And I sent one of them nice emails. And the principal said, well, on your resume, it had the wrong school on your cover letter to apply to.
What? You got to be kidding me.
I hope she's not watching. Listen, if you watching, you missed out. You watching, you missed out. And I'm going to make you sorry. I'll make you feel so sorry for that. So every day, you're going to feel sorry you didn't pick me. Anyway.
Right.
Crazy. Yeah. And it's funny because the reason the resume had the wrong name on it is because I had applied to 3 different assistant principal jobs, and the way that the system was, the HR system, it kept your resume on file, and you just would click to apply to a job. Like, no one told me that the generic resume is what everybody got when you clicked.
Wow.
So it wasn't even my fault. That is basically what I'm saying. But anyway, it was dumb feedback, and you get dumb feedback when they can't tell you the truth, right? So
wow. Yeah,
so
that's real.
so it's like, maybe you should speak a little more to X, Y, and Z. They don't even remember that. They did 5 interviews, and the third candidate was one they was going to get. They knew that before all 5 of y'all interviewed in the first place, right? So stuff like that is what I wanted people to know. So now that you know that, let's go ahead and skip all that. And let's present your case in such a way that you can get right to where you need to get. Because I need for kids, I need the best people to be able to move and shake, and I need them to be in those positions. And there's too many people that are not in those positions that have burned out and took it personal and thought that maybe they'll never get a job as an administrator or do anything, and so they left education altogether. When the truth is, they just didn't know how to get to that table. Right?
Wow. Yeah.
So that's the point. But here's the problem, man. Here's the problem, man. The problem is you don't know that until like the 3rd time you fail the interview. Right? So the problem I'm having selling this stuff to people is most of these people ain't even started their journey in administration yet. So like, they're not paying attention to me.
Yeah.
It's like I can't even sell to them because you don't know that. You don't know what you don't know. And you got that initial arrogance where you're like, yeah, I know people, I know it's politics and all that, but they'll like my resume. They'll see my resume. They'll pick me. And they're not. They're not, right? And you're going to holler at me in 3 years. By then, I'm going to be like a national speaker, and you're not going to be able to get my book for $29. Like, you ain't going to get me or nothing, right? So, like, I'm saying, like, I'm telling you now, it's better to have this information now so that you don't look stupid when you're applying for stuff, right? So I would get to that, but let me tell you my journey real quick. My journey is I started off as a high school band director. Ended up switching to elementary school. Elementary was like my life, man. I found out, man, I love kids, man. I love little kids, man. I just, man, I love them, man. I love them so much. And so I was pastoring, actually. I was pastoring a church, and I was doing well, and just like, leave me alone, pastoring my church, loving my kids. That's all I was doing. I didn't want to be an administrator. And I don't mean any disrespect to assistant principals and principals everywhere, but that position, and some of my colleagues get mad when I say it, and I don't mean to be rude. I love y'all. I love what we do. But at the end of the day, a lot of principalships are management, right? They're not really leading anything. They're just managing a building, like managing the pieces. Basically HR extension of the school board, HR in the building. So, and a lot of those people, that's their first real opportunity at managing people, and they're messing it up, right? And so you in there with these principals are kind of like, chip on the shoulder or high egotistical or whatever, right? Big egos and all that. And so I wasn't really impressed with educational leadership. Meanwhile, I'm pastoring a thriving church, right? So to pastor takes a whole different level of leadership. I mean, it's authentic leadership. These people ain't scared of me, right? These people ain't gonna get fired. Matter of fact, if they don't like me, they're gonna leave and take their tithe and their offerings with them, and maybe 3 other families, right? So
right.
It's a whole different breed of leadership. And so I'm doing this in life, coming to school, looking at this management style leadership. I'm like, it ain't working, man. I ain't doing that. And I said, I tell you what, though, if I ever got a job like that, it's over for y'all. I said it. Like, I promise you. Like, if I ever get in that position where I've always led with inspiration, vision, relationship, and love, right? But yet I still had the gavel and can still make those types of decisions. Oh, it's over for y'all, right? So I kept working. And then finally, a couple of my principals were like, "You need to be an administrator."
Wow.
And long story short, they kind of like tricked me and stuff, and kind of like, set me up for stuff to be an administrator and all that. And then life hit. So about 5 years ago, life hit, man, for me, honestly. So I had applied. I was in a school district. And I'm not gonna say the name of the school district.
Okay.
But but y'all messed up, and you know it, and y'all messed up. And what a purple Sailor say in Color Purple, what until you do right by me.
I don't know that, man.
What was he pointing at? He just said everything goes. I don't know what you said, but the point is, I was in a school district, man. It was a hot mess, man. Like I learned a lot, but they would promote me. This happened 3 times, bro. It's crazy. I'm putting this out there. Everybody who knows me knows what happened, but man, they promoted me 3 times, 2 assistant principal positions, and then finally a central office position. And it happened 3 straight times. Got a call on Wednesday, congratulations. And on Friday, I got a call that said, never mind.
Wow.
Bro, like by the 3rd time, people were like, man, you need to sue them, man. And I'm like, man, you know what? I said, you know what? God is God. He's good, man. And I don't have to, whatever it is, and I don't want it, right? And so my life changed a little bit, had some personal, transition. Family, church, everything kind of changed and shifted. So I had really nothing left. And so I said, it was the kids that saved me. I tell people all the time, man, them kids saved me. It got so dark for me. I didn't want to be alive anymore, man. And, I go from this pastor, this thriving church, man, that like everybody's talking about. Baltimore, anybody in Baltimore knows me as that, man. And like, beautiful family, was on TV a lot, was doing a lot of things, and it crashed, right? So I didn't have a will to live. But what got me is every day I walked into an elementary school that I was at, man, and them kids they just gave me life, man. Like, and I realized I can't leave them. You know what I mean? I can't leave these kids, man. Like, so I tell people they saved me, and so ever since then, I owe my life to kids. It's personal for me. I don't know about any other principle, but it's personal for me. And I'm gonna do right by kids. And every day I wake up, I'm gonna pay kids back for the life they gave me all over again, right? And so I tell my staff, my teachers, you come in here, you work with me. We're gonna have the best time. I'm gonna be the best principal you ever worked for. And as long as you can be the best teacher my kids can get, right? Because that's my thing. I'm gonna make sure you're good and make sure you're happy. I'm gonna make sure you whole. I'm gonna bend rules. I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do to make sure you are feeling empowered. Make sure you're feeling safe. Making sure you're feeling supported, because I gotta have the best in front of my kids. Best thing I can do for the 600 some kids in my building is to make sure every adult in those classrooms is at their best, right? So I don't feel comfortable walking around making people scared and messing them up and playing head games with them and all that stuff, because that don't help my kids. It's really about kids. Really, y'all benefiting from my love for kids. That's really what it is. I just gotta treat you right because you gotta do my kids right, right? So, right. So I ended up, long story short, I keep saying long story short, still talking long. That's a preach at me. But life has shifted, and I'm in a PhD program, and one of my classes, I was in there with an entire cohort of Anne Arundel County school people. That's where I'm at right now. And I'm the only guy from a different district sitting there with them. And I had my, impressions of them at first, but I was in there, man. They just love me so much, man. They love me so hard. And they really like restored me a little bit, man. They didn't know what they gave me. And so one of them in there was a principal. She's a really, really powerful principal in the district. I would later find out. She said, Ken, you got to come over to Anne Arundel County. You got to come over with us, man. You got to come over with us. And I was like, man, you know what? Life was shifting. Why not? Right? Why not, man? Like, new start, man. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Right. So it took her 3, and she harassed me. Gina Davenport is her name. I hope she's watching this thing. Gina Davenport. She's amazing. She spammed my text messages over a weekend. She said, come on, you coming? Did you apply? Come on, you coming? Let me help you. I can help you. So I applied, man. And Monday I got a call from HR. By Wednesday, I got a job as an assistant principal at Annapolis Middle School. I love those kids, man. I love them. So my first year as assistant principal was the year we were home on pandemic. We were home all that we were nobody could go anywhere, right? It was the year after we left early. So it was the pandemic year, right? I'm assistant principal, basically from a computer in my living room. I said, man, I can do this all day, man. Like, it's fun, right? And everybody kept saying, man, wait till you get to school, man. The middle school kids different, bro. They built different. And so the next year, which was last year, I got in the school building, man, and it was 100 miles an hour. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna hold you, man. It was a lot of work, but It was fun, man. It was fun, man. It was kids, man. Middle school kids, man. 7th grade. I had the worst grade, man. 7th. Man, they gave me 7th, man. You understand? You hear me, man? I thought they gave me 7th grade, man.
I hear you.
Hey, but listen, man. I went hard for them kids, man. I went hard for my staff. Like it was love, man. It was crazy, man. It was crazy. And Annapolis Middle School is a very, very challenging school in this district, and it's a place where if you can get any success there, then you're bona fide, right? It's a place where you cut your teeth. If you succeed there, you can do big things. And so I was succeeding. I was showing up every day, working hard, and my name got floated around very early, and then I got selected really to be the principal of the elementary school. I'd only been assistant principal 2 years, really one, because that first year we were online. I don't even know if that even counts. So I really was in the building 1 year, and then got whisked away to where I'm at right now, man. And it wasn't easy. That wasn't easy either. Some people didn't think I was ready. But every day they're eating these sweets. They eating these sweets every day. So
you're definitely doing your thing, man. And I just kind of want to take a moment to, you mentioning saying, that you went through some dark times. And I just want to kind of take a moment to share with anyone who's listening, any educator out there, that you matter, So make sure that if you are going through vulnerable times, if you are going through some dark times, please make sure that you talk to somebody, that you talk to a therapist, a best friend. I recommend, highly encourage therapy, best friends. All of it is important, but I just want to kind of take a pause because you mentioned about, going through those dark times. And I know a lot of times people, even educators, people in general, it's hard for them to kind of cope with their emotions and different things like that when you're going through those dark times. So just kind of want to take a moment to just encourage you. If you are going through some dark times, please make sure that you talk to somebody.
Absolutely, man. I'm a piggyback on that, man. Absolutely. And I actually did, man. I abused the employee assistance program. Hopefully you go to a school district that has that. I abused it. I'm gonna tell you how I abused it. I knew that you're supposed to get 10 free sessions. I think I got like about 30.
You had that? You were able to get therapy?
Yeah. I definitely did that. That was definitely part of it. Definitely part of it.
Okay.
You can get it free in your district. Your district should have at least a couple sessions you can get for free. But yeah, I did that. That was part of it. That was part of the journey. But man, just remember, like, it's hard, right? And if somebody like me, man, who was pastoring a church, can struggle so bad that they want to exit life, then any of us is vulnerable. Like any of us, man. Like none of us is above life getting to us, right? So yeah, I'm with you on that, man. I'm with you on that, man. So, man, let's talk about this ebook. Let's talk about this ebook, though.
Let's talk about it.
So that's what I want to say. Like, I'm not trying to sell it because I think I'm gonna end up just probably giving it away in a little bit, man. Because like not enough people got it. Not enough people got it just for my liking.
Let's talk about it, brother. Take it how you want to take it on your ebook.
Yeah. So all right. So I'm gonna give y'all some nuggets, man. I'm gonna give your people some nuggets. And if you want the ebook for free, I'm gonna give it to you, and they reach out to you. How about that?
Okay.
But they gotta have watched this whole thing. All right.
Oh.
Right. So they're gonna get it free from you. That's my deal. That's what I'm saying. But the reason I put it together, man, is that like people don't know how to get to principal, right? What you think is not what it is. You think work hard, build your resume, apply for the job, you get it. Totally false. I tell people all the time, your first, it's a lot of politics involved. But you do have to be good. But you can be great and not get a job if you don't know the politics. You also can be mediocre and get a job if you know the politics. So part of it is to help get people who are really great in front faster. That's really what this is all about. So what I tell people, really the path to principal, I can make it really simple for you, is it's a 3-step process. I tell this to my leaders. I have a leadership program in my building. It's called the Seven Oaks Leadership Pipeline. SOESLP is what it is. I tell teachers in the building, I'm not signing no letters of recommendation or nothing if you ain't a part of this leadership program, because I don't know and I can't trust that you're doing what I asked you to do if you ain't part of it. How about that? So the leadership pipeline is so it's 3 steps. It's perfect, produce, and promote. Right? Those are the 3. Perfect is you got to be good at what you do. You got to be a good teacher, first of all, right? You can't say in a classroom, I want to be an assistant principal, and like 3 of your colleagues are like, what? Like, this dude don't even show up to work on time. Like, what is he doing? Like, kids ain't read on grade level since he started here. Like, what is principal where? Right? You got to be somebody that your colleagues are like, yeah, this person's killing it. Like I learned from this person, or like this person inspired me, right? So you got to perfect where you at. Once you do that, you have to produce something. That's be a product, right? And so that product is something that is data driven. That's a thing that you do that has impacted the bottom line, impacted student achievement, and it's a thing that can be duplicated or replicated on a larger level, right? It's kind of like if I'm a caterer, right? And you planning a wedding or something. Yeah, you're going to taste that meal, but what does it taste like? That the couple are trying to determine if that meal is going to taste good to their entire reception, right? So superintendents and people who make decisions on administrators are trying to determine if this thing you got cooking is going to fit a school where they need that at. You got what I'm saying? That part is missing. So what happens is people are very generic in their approach to assistant principal. You think because you work at a school, your principal has signed off on some stuff that you in there. No, it's not how it works, right? It's not how it works. You got to be something. You might have a specialty in early literacy, or you might have a specialty in restorative practices, or you might have a specialty in, you got to have that thing, something that you do and something that you're good at, something that, matter of fact, in your building they kind of associate you with. And that thing has to have some data, and you have to be able to say, I can do this, and I can add this to a building. And then what happens is superintendents and executive directors and school performance people, whatever they call them, they know the schools. I know that school, Johnny Schoolhouse Elementary over there is struggling with math. Like their math score has been so low forever. And the parents are noticing it, and it's a problem. And so if Mrs. Schoolhouse shows up with this mathematical equation program or something, that this math thing, this thing he put in the school that really kind of moved the scores forward, they're going to put him as assistant principal at that school before they put anybody else, because their job's still on the line.
Wow.
You see how that works?
Yeah.
So if Kim Patterson and Mrs. Schoolhouse are trying to apply for the same job, and I'm just like, hey, I'm a nice guy, pick me,
Yeah.
I like running around with kids and stuff, right? But Mrs. Schoolhouse shows up like, listen, man, I did this special program I created. It was an after-school program. I piloted after school, and then I shared it with my colleagues, and then we did it in school. Then I shared it with my assistant principal and my principal. Then we did it in school. Here's our math scores. Here's what happened. They're gonna pick you, right? So it's that product, right? And then you got to promote it, and it's the promotion, that last part. So it's perfect what you are, be good at what you do, and be recognized by your colleagues that you're good. And then you have to produce something, create a product, something that makes you unique from everybody else that's applying for assistant principal jobs. Because remember, when people are trying to move forward, and the same thing as an assistant principal moving to principal. So it's the same thing. So if you're an assistant principal, you still got to have a new product, right? So for me, my path was the same way. So what I did, and then there's the politics. I'm gonna give you the politics piece, but so my product was, I was just good as a music teacher first, right? But I knew that wasn't gonna be enough. So then I was able to secure a position in my school, still as a music teacher, but managing the Coordinated Early Intervening Services Program. There was a grant that came to the school districts like in 2012, where they were over-identifying Black males for special education services. So it really was a lawsuit. So the grant allowed schools to put things in place to lower those numbers. So I manage that. That's training teachers. That's looking at data. That's taking pre-data to see where the kids are headed. That's taking post-data. All that's a boom, 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 boom. That was my product. So that package, I was able to buy a position as a grant coordinator in Baltimore County Schools, co-coordinated a $15 million grant, right? That grant was moving a regular school into International Baccalaureate, IB, right? That grant was spending money, flying teachers out, training them, looking at data, hiring teachers on. So that's a whole program that I did, right? That's my thing. So then when I went to apply for assistant principal, they looked at my resume like, whoa, most assistant principals ain't doing none of that. Come on. So I came, I used that product to buy the assistant principal position at a school. As assistant principal, now I'm rolling. What I was known as, now that I didn't have a program, but who I was, brought down the discipline data in my grade level, right? Little things were happening, like phone calls weren't going to superintendent's office for my grade level. All these things were happening. So then it became this guy who did all these things, but he also could crush it at a school where it's challenging. So then that product purchased my principal's position. And that's how I ended up where I'm at. Right? So you got to have a thing that's going to, you got to buy the position with a thing. People don't know that. So they so generic. And you generic. You generic. So what? You just graduated with your master's in administration. Who cares? Who cares, man?
Wow.
Nobody cares, bro. Nobody cares. What do you do that other people don't do? That you will live and die on. I mean, if Schoolhouse says I'm a math guy, then you got to stand on that. So if I don't get a job, it's because they didn't need math at that school. I ain't asking no questions. I'm not worried about it, right? And then the other part of it is the politics. It is the politics, right? So you still got to have a product because they still not going to give you anything, man, because at the end of the day, their job's still on the line. So what you do is the politics is what helps you get your product in front of the right people. Right?
So how you do that?
So you got to know who the players are in your district. Everybody, the superintendent ain't always a player. And you ain't going to get his ear or her ear. So you got to find out who the players are. I circled in my district, my old district, I circled one name. One name. I want to say it on this call, but her name is Dr. Penelope Martin Knox. I love her so much. Dr. Penelope Martin Knox. I saw all the players, but she had one name. It seemed like all roads went through her. Like she was the closest that you was gonna get to be able to do a lot of things. And I mean, I'm not saying that to make people mad, or I hope nobody's reading that wrong. But she was right under the superintendent, right? So, and she was a former music teacher. So, I just put myself in a way. I stalked her. Is what I did. You know, I found out she was gonna be at a job fair. So I said, I ain't need a job. I already have one, but I said, let me go there and see if I can meet her and talk to her because I can't email her, right? So I see her and I reach out to her, man, and the rest is history, man. She took interest in me, man. I guess she was like, man, this dude, I don't know who he thinks he is walking up on me, talking about helping me. So she probably felt sorry for me. But she saw me, she noticed me, man. She kept an eye on me. She would test me, give me some things to do, and I rock with it. And then next thing I know, she's kind of co-signing. It's like a co-signer. You do need a co-signer. And it ain't always your principal, man. Like everybody thinks they gotta go through your principal. Half these principals out here, man, are seen as jokes by the superintendents, man. Like they get them in them positions, and it's like, so not every principal on your resume is gonna guarantee you a job. So you got to have a lot of players that can help you out, and so that's where the politics kicks in. You show them something, and then they help you get your product in front of the right people, or they just take your product and say, "I want that in that school. Go apply for the job, and you got it." Right? That's what that ebook is all about. It's really setting you up for that whole process, so you don't look dumb graduating from school with a master's, putting your resume together, thinking that's going to get it for you. Like, just stop it, bro. Like, I'm telling people, stop it. You look dumb. Don't do that. It's not how it works. Like, and the people who are in the positions know that. They just don't want people to know.
That's some gatekeeping.
It is. That's what I'm saying.
Dude, and honestly, I don't remember. We got to do another podcast where we just talk about your ebook if you're open.
I got you.
Yeah, because that I never thought of it like that. So like if you can really get a thing that you're known for, and like if you can move the needle like evidence wise, then you got some attention coming your way.
That's your thing. You can't be generic. Everybody is generic, man. So we gotta have another discussion. I will unpack that whole ebook, and it's. I mean, people pay. I'm honest, man. People like pay. I consult with people. They pay a lot of money for some of the information I just gave you.
Yeah.
Of course, when we consulting, it's more personal. I'm going to tell you about your district. I'm going to learn your district, help you out.
Right.
So there's some stuff you just got to come to me for. But this stuff right here, man, I think is enough. I think people need to know this just on a generic level, because there's too many people, man, that that don't know the process. And it's not enough people reaching out to me, right? So like I think they still think because they haven't got their first head bust yet, right? They ain't got the head bust first yet, right? So they don't know what I'm saying. They don't make sense to them yet until they get rejected for their first job and they feel stupid. And they're gonna come ask me like, what am I supposed to do? And I'm telling you, like, it's a process, man. And so I want to help people, man. And the purpose is not for my personal gain. It's because what did Jadakiss say, man? Jadakiss. I'm gonna quote Jadakiss. I don't know if you two, you look young, too young to know Jadakiss. But Jadakiss got this famous line, and he said basically, there's a cat. And he didn't say the word cat. You know, you guess what he said. There's a person up north that's better than Jordan that nobody knows about. That's the gist of what he was saying. And what he was saying is that like it's a lot of people that are really great that just don't have the path or the resources or the knowledge or any understanding of how to get where they got to get, and they're not. How many people are better than LeBron James, man? That like we probably never gonna meet because they didn't have, right? So I'm saying that that's the same thing happens in education, and I'm just trying to kill it because I want more LeBron Jameses moving forward, and like less of these bum basketball players that's getting these contracts, right? Yeah. Same thing in education. I need more people who I know is gonna be world changers in education, and less of these people who are up there just taking positions and getting paid and not moving kids forward.
Yeah, that's real, man. Yeah, we definitely got the next podcast. And I didn't know, and I have to go back to the messages, but I seen when you posted saying Pathway to Principal, but I didn't know that you had an ebook.
Yeah.
Go back to the messages, but you dropped some really good gems, man. Like that. I never heard of that. So that's
an ebook, really man. It's like 40 pages, man. I think it's worth a lot, man. And
for sure,
and people ignore it at your own peril. Like if you know, I'm not saying I'm all that now. I'm just saying I'm just tired of people not getting where they need to get because they don't understand the process. And I'm not. I just want kids to have what they had the best, man. So like some of y'all out there and people watching this podcast, some of y'all are really world changing people, man. You are world changers. You have the ability and the ideas and the courage and the wherewithal to do some big things. But we got to get you there quick. You know, I'm tired of seeing people losing their seats to people who just understand the process better, but are not as talented as you.
Yeah.
They can't move kids. I'm tired of it, bro. Like it's not helpful. So I'm gonna fight and do what I can do to make sure as many super talented people as possible break through all the gatekeeping and all the crap and get in front of kids and let's do things for kids, man.
For sure, man. Do you have, before we wrap things up, do you have any encouraging words that you can say to the educators out there?
Listen, man, it's a fight. It's a fight that we're never gonna give up. It's a fight. We need it. Don't listen to it. It's tough. I know it's tough. Take care of yourself. Make sure your mental health is where it needs to be. But also remember that you have a calling, man. We have a high calling as teachers, man. Like nobody has our calling, man. Nobody has our calling, man. Like and every day you go to work, every day you serve kids, man. You're moving the needle forward for us as a country, us as a nation, and us as a people, man. So like keep doing it, man. Like keep doing it. If you're not feeling like you're getting encouragement where you're at, and you're not feeling like it, just ignore it all and remember that those little babies that are in front of you, them kids in front of you, them middle schools and high schools in front of you, they need you. They need you. If not you, who else, right? If not you, who else going to step up, right? So like, just be encouraged. Find a mentor, find some people, make sure your mental health is where it needs to be. But always remember you are doing legendary work every day you step into schools. Legendary work. Nobody else can claim the same. And that's my encouragement, really, man. So
yeah, I appreciate that, man. Well, thank you so much, and you enjoy the rest of your night. And we definitely got to do a part 2 for sure.
Yes, man. Let me know. I listen, man. Let me know. I'm here.
All right, I got you, man.
All right, take care, Doc.
All right, you too.
All right, bye-bye.
Welcome to the Schoolhouse Podcast office. Listen, this is Mr. Schoolhouse. I know it's been a few weeks. It's been a few weeks, but if you've been rocking with this podcast and listening to it, those last points, if you're looking to move up in leadership and education, I'm not going to tell it. You don't want to miss it because it was some good gems that were dropped that was like, whoa to me. So, but enough of me talking. Thank you guys for listening to this podcast. And it's Mr. Schoolhouse. Peace, and I'm out.